Come on, yo. Come on, yo. Slant.
Yeah, but isn't this the unplugged version? I don't know. I think it's the unplugged version.
All right, Paulie, let's go.
All right, listen, y'all. Just go ahead and let the guest play. Come on, jeez. That's better. Where'd I go?
What's happening, everybody? My name is Paulie. Welcome to the Latino Slant. Today, and for this video, it's the Superscript Slant. The Superscript Slant. Superman Script Doctor. And we're continuing our analysis and breakdown of every episode of Superman and Lois, the CW new TV series, just in its first season. Are you guys a fan? Have you been watching it? Have you seen our past breakdowns of the first 8 episodes? Today, we're going to go over episodes 9, 10, and 11 and discuss all of what it means, because they've really kicked it up a notch and taken it to places I didn't even know they were going to do. So, but I cannot do it alone. I don't want to do it alone, but I want to have some fun. And I know Script Doctor is the man to do this with me. Sir.
Hello.
Good day. How's it going, brother?
It's going pretty well. I'm so happy to be here to continue our awesome discussion of this show, one of the rare positive CW shows on the network.
Wow. You know, to this day, I still have not seen a full episode of any CW series besides this one. I did see 15 minutes of Batwoman, and that was it. That's all I needed.
That's an unhealthy amount of Batwoman right there. Speaking from experience.
Yeah, but I'm happy we could do this live, because what we did last time is that we saw all eight episodes, and then we recorded our analysis. So I was like, well, let's get this in before it becomes another 8 episodes, and let's get these 3 in, and let's do it live.
Yeah, sounds great. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So before we get into the first episode, and that's episode 9, which is entitled Loyal Subjects, let's say hello to people in the chat real quick, and we'll get this moving. We have Latino Slant members here. We have Glogo 13, aka Brandon the Infinite Wolf. Michael Gonzalez, make forget outside. Okay, I don't know what that means, but explain. D-Bud Martin and Bone. Hola, Slantinos. Hola. Hello, everyone. Okay, let's get right into it, because I know you have a busy day. You're a busy man, and thank you for making time for us.
Hey, no, again, we talked about doing this a while ago, and things just kind of worked out right now. I'm not going to rush this, even though I am playing a little bit of a beat the clock scenario with my personal knife later.
Yeah, right.
No, I want to relish this as I can. So yeah, let's get to it. How do you want to start for this one?
Well, the episode 9 is titled Loyal Subjects. Lois, Chrissy, Clark team up to piece together the significance of Smallville to Morgan Edge. And let's just take it from there. I mean, the notes that I got was he's recruiting more, he's doing ads. This incenses Lois. Lois confronts him. Superman and Jordan get sick and wounded. They go back to, They have a whole thing in at the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah, this
And
was
then
episode 8, right? Yeah.
I got episode 9.
Oh, right. No,
Lois.
yeah, this is so
Yeah.
yeah, because this picks up right after we discover
Mm-hmm.
Morgan Edge is a Kryptonian. Yes,
Did we?
that's what I think. That's how episode 8 ends. Is Morgan Edge is the Kryptonian? Isn't he? Isn't that?
No, that's the end of this episode.
That's the end of this episode. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm getting way
yeah.
ahead of myself. See,
Yeah.
they're bleeding a little bit together there, but okay, yes.
That's the big reveal at the end of this episode.
Right. Again, spoiler. Sorry. Right, because
All
the
right.
previous episode, Clark gets all that kryptonite, artificial kryptonite poisoning from Sam Lane, stopping.
Correct.
Basically, John. When they discover it's John Henry Irons, and there's one of the army soldiers is also loyal to Edge and has been converted to a Kryptonian powers. Right. And then this is the follow up to that. So this involves Sarah Cushing having her music at the talent show, her song at the talent show happening later today.
Right. Right. It's really weird because they're still doing the CW teenagey thing a little bit.
Yep.
While the town is being taken over by Morgan's Edge. There's still a talent show.
Exactly. And so Jordan is going to be the piano player for her as she's doing this, and he ends up having a cold and sneezes actual like ice into his hand.
Right.
Which is both cool and gross.
Yeah. That's exactly. And it gets worse. And he freaks out and he punches the dad meter to get over here. And
there's that. Yep.
They at first they take him home. At first he takes him home.
But first he takes him home, and Superman has to stop a bank robbery in this episode, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Right. So what happens is that he hears that there's a bank robbery going down in Mexico. So he goes down there, and those guys with the guns were pretty awesome. I have to say they were pretty menacing, and he's beating some of these guys up, and then he, in between beating people up, he starts breathing hard.
Yeah, has a respiratory issue. Yeah.
Right. And then there's this guy, I guess he's got like a sawed off or some badass gun that just takes Superman down. It doesn't penetrate anything, but it takes him down, and he starts he just keeps shooting at Superman's chest. So he finally gets up, defeats the bad guys, but without major concern, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets back, and you see that he's got bruises all over his body, and Lois is kind of freaking out because she's never seen that before.
Yeah, and you can see from that shot how much the suit actually pads out the rest of his body, because he does have he has a very fit body. Like, one thing I was actually kind of surprised is how rounded out his shoulders were. He works the shoulders well. Tyler Hoechlin got some good definition there, but he's still a slim dude compared to how he is in the suit. But yeah, his entire chest and arms and everything is covered in bruises, and it freaks Lois out. And then this coincides with Jordan having his first kind of cold.
Well, I guess it's established that by Superman being infected, he passes on that as a virus to his son.
Yeah, somehow that weakens Jordan, and by proximity, because they're close together. Maybe he has some of the kryptonite residue is left on him that goes to Jordan and allows him to be susceptible to a cold, which also triggers his next superpower, which is the super breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And they got to figure this out. And this also causes a big divide between Lois and her dad, Sam, as well as John kind of not liking his grandfather as well.
Correct.
Because it's experimental stuff, and they don't know how to fix this. And so we get this concerned dad saying we got to go to the fortress, and we got to do an examination on him. Meanwhile, Sarah is all frustrated because her musical act is going to be messed up, and John plays the good brother and kind of covers a little for him.
Right. Mm-hmm.
and she's got her doubts that she doesn't want to go, and you got her dad. I keep forgetting his
Kyle.
first. Kyle Cushing.
Kyle.
He's kind of spaced out a little.
Yeah. Well, we don't know where he's found this newfound energy and confidence.
Yeah.
Remember, he's like, "Hey, boys, how you doing?" And this and that. Like, when he's interacting, dropping Sarah off, at school, and then I guess he steps in and helps her perform. He plays the song on the guitar, which was the original setup before.
Mm-hmm. The original intention, yeah.
The original intention, right? And he kind of saves the day, But going back, this was about it's called Loyal Subjects. We first see the Asian woman. I forget her name. I forget
I think
her
it was
character's
Emily.
name.
I think it was Emily.
Let's say it's Emily, who's
Sure.
who's an old childhood friend of everybody's. They're all in Smallville, and there's a montage of her just not being able to maintain the house. Like they're just basically showing her and her family's problems. So she becomes one of the subjects.
Subjects, yeah, the like excellence program or something like that.
Right. And you see her go through this machine, and she even asks, "Is this going to hurt?" And then that other lady who backs up Morgan says it's going to like hurt a little bit, and it just jacks her up. You just see her like her whole body molecularly just like.
Yeah, there's that other doctor they introduce us to as well, who's kind of operating the thing.
Yeah, I got his name down because he really shows up in the next story as well.
Yeah, he's just in the background here. We're not supposed to know too much about him, but
okay, yeah. Real fast, Bone gave us a super sticker, some popcorn. Enjoy, man. Enjoy. Thank you for the super sticker so much. And let us say to I just want to briefly mention this and we'll move on. Michael Gonzalez, in referring to makes me forget about outside, he's referring to some unfortunate incidents that happened as far as some violence as far as in his city. So that is horrible to hear. And I don't have all the news, but please take care of yourself and your family, Michael, and stay inside until they say you are safe to go outside. I don't know the situation, what your situation is with you and your family, but he's telling us that there's been a big incident. So God bless, brother.
Yeah, stay safe, sir, you and your family, and hopefully it passes through quickly and you don't have to be all anxious any longer.
Yeah,
that's not a good thing to be in. Yeah.
Well, if we can, if you hanging out with us means that you're alleviating your anxiety and your sadness just for a few minutes. Hey, man, we're doing our job. We're here hanging out with you.
Yeah.
Borg Pork says Superman Lois best CW show so far.
I probably would agree with that. I'm sure there's some Supernatural fans out there that would want to make a play for such a title, and I don't blame them. But again, because we're dealing with such a low bar. Yes, this show is definitely fantastic among the rest.
Oh my God, that's funny. Okay, so back to Emily. She takes the program, and then you see she's all confident, and she's even like kind of like crushing a little bit with Clark Kent. It's like, oh, you should join, and then all of a sudden she's got to take off. So you see her and these other people just becoming part of his subjects, becoming part of his army, which is what he's trying to do.
And like they're very happy. Financially, things are going better for them. And what else was there that is happening? Oh yeah, Lana Lang is starting to like ask little questions to Emily, like what was the procedure? What are they doing and stuff? And as they do a montage with, I guess, Lois and Lana, and then they bring Clark in to do a little bit because he's more of a trustworthy figure in town. And that takes us to like that diner where he meets Emily and then uses some of his super hearing to figure out what's going on there.
Right.
But that all gets kind of sidetracked for the moment when Jordan shows up sick with something he can't do anything about.
Correct. So I know we jumped back. We'll jump forward. So they're waiting. The advice is like, like Jordan's sick. He's literally sneezing out ice. His lungs are trying to freeze the sickness. I guess it's really like gross and it looks painful as shit.
I think it's the fact that the sickness has triggered a dormant power, and just as a byproduct of the sneezing, he's using his super breath, and it's just doing that. Because that makes a little bit more sense, right, as opposed to. I think normally if he was just sneezing and he was human, it would just be regular mucus or something.
No, yeah,
terrible.
That's good. That's good. So I guess Superman can't wait any longer because Jordan's literally doubling over. He's literally freezing. Like I guess he's starting to.
Something's going on with his lungs. Yeah.
Right. They were waiting on Sam, but parents like, oh, this is experimental, and we didn't know what we were doing. It was like a what do you call it? An alternative to stop Superman.
An experimental alternative. One Sam claims that he would never have you had to use.
Yeah.
But just in the event just in case type of thing. And this plays into a nice philosophical question, especially considering what's going to happen later, which is that should you prepare for the worst case scenario, even if the person that you're preparing for might not be the one that goes against you, but perhaps one of their kin does, right? If that were to ever show up. And that's kind of the thing that's in play here. Sam is in the right to be prepared, but when he has that conversation with John later, the fact is that he's trying to be prepared against his son-in-law and then his grandchildren, as opposed to someone who he can truly never really trust, which would be a stranger that comes in with the same powers or abilities or whatnot.
Well, now I'm seeing some incredible foreshadowing.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like what you're dealing with here. And so we get this cool scene where Clark takes Jordan to the Fortress of Solitude, puts him in kind of like that version of an MRI machine. He's getting examined, and the shadow or the computer program of Jor-El says we can help him out, but it's got to be done through like extreme heat. And so you get this thing where Superman does the Superman thing. He grabs his kid, he takes him into the chamber, he hugs him tight, and he says, "This is going to hurt a lot, but I'm here." And you just squeeze and do whatever you got to do to get through it. We're doing it together, and all these lasers just come shooting at Jordan, and he's going through a whole lot of pain as they burn this kryptonite out of his body, and presumably also is happening the same thing to Superman at this point. And that's where they are for I guess a good act in the show.
Yep. And meanwhile, almost at the same time, Emily and them are called and they try to attack. Well, they do attack.
They're called away. We don't know exactly how they're called away, but they just are. Like Emily's the first one to get up in the middle of the talent show while her daughter's performing, and she just walks away, and Lana freaks out because she's like, "Whoa, that doesn't happen! Like this, she sacrifices everything to her kids." And then Kyle's like, "You know what? I'll follow her and find out." And he leaves as well. And what we end up learning is that they're going after Lois because Morgan Edge has confirmed that she's getting very, very close to uncovering the truth of what he's doing in Smallville.
And there's a photo of Emily right there, and then another subject as they try to attack.
They attack the house, and it's up to Jonathan and Lois to try and survive. And it's the army comes in and they just get like their butts kicked.
Well, Sam comes in and gives them a minute to get out of the house, but they kick Sam's ass. They do. They throw him across and they knock him out, I believe.
It basically just buys him enough time, and you get this really intense moment where they run into the barn, and Kyle shows up and he's like, "Hey, is everything okay? What's going on? I saw this stuff." And
he's a really good actor because
yeah,
the things that he's got to do, it could easily be really cheesy, you know.
exactly. And what ends up happening is he does this big, quick about face, becomes evil, eyes glow red, and he's about to vaporize Jonathan and Lois when Jonathan pulls out from under one of the cellar exit entrances. One of John Henry Irons' red kryptonite or red sun weapons,
right.
and shoots him and just knocks him away long enough for Superman to come back and just dispense of some of these people.
Yeah, it was great. I quickly reminded, but you're right about Jonathan pulling that out. That was great.
Yeah, like Lois freaks out a little bit. She's like, "Why do you have one of those weapons?"
Right.
And he's like, "For situations like this." and you kind of see that it's kind of weird because Jonathan's doing the same thing he just had a fight with his grandfather about, but in a very different type of context. It's like he knew he'd never have to fight his brother. He knew he'd never have to fight his dad. But after seeing the video footage in John Henry Irons' RV and all that type of stuff, he realized that something might happen, and you might actually need this thing. And he's coming at it, I guess, by living up to exactly what Sam preaches, but possibly doesn't actually fully believe. And that's kind of like an interesting parallel that I liked between, the grandfather and the grandson.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. And so Superman arrives, correct?
Yes.
And I'm trying to remember, he arrives, and then where does Morgan arrive?
Let's see. They
Because don't they meet up in the desert?
They do. There's something with Clark and the reporter. Clark's going off to try and find out what happened with these other Kryptonians. And him and Lois have a thing, and then all of a sudden I think oh right, Lois loses her Superman device. And
right.
they're in the Kent farm talking to each other about just the recent events, and all of a sudden her device triggers and he flies to it, and that's where we see Morgan Edge in the middle of this desert somewhere, like a rocky desert setting. And he's dressed in this trench coat, and he's got this Kryptonian symbol on his chest, and
yes, he does.
he just levitates, and he calls Superman a brother.
And that's the end.
That's the end of that episode. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that was, and it picks up right away in "Oh Mother, Where Art Thou?" That's the next episode, episode 10. But real fast, Hypnotic and Rapture says, Paulie and Doctor, yes, that's us. Mr. Tickle Trunk, $2. Thanks you so much. Canadian $2. What a world. I'm enjoying a CW show. So good. Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's my first time watching a CW show, like I've said before, It
only took around 17 years, for them to get one good one out of the gate.
They got one right. Oh,
especially on the superhero side of things, yeah. I mean, I know there's still a huge Smallville fan base. I have my own issues with that. One day I'll probably do an extensive talk about it.
You should. You definitely should.
But that's it's good. So
before we go on to the next episode, let's thank those people for being here and for your generous tips. We have a little grito for you. Thank you. All right. I mean, I bet you Superman can't do that.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, there's a cool part about him learning all the languages.
Oh, the next episode after this one,
Yeah, there's a lot to love in that. I mean, there's a lot to love in a lot of these episodes. But let's move on.
Yeah.
Oh, mother, where art thou? So we get the rundown of who this gentleman really is, and his name. It's not Morgan's Edge. It's Tal Rowe.
Yeah. So this is a canon gripe with me. Not so much like a bad thing or not, but Tal Rowe I've never heard of in the DC comics or anything of this nature.
Mm-hmm.
If he did appear, it was in the New 52 and possibly the Rebirth era of comic books after 2006, which is when I kind of dipped out. But yeah, this Tal Rowe guy, apparently, his father was genetically matched with Superman's mother, Lara Sorvan, and or Solvan. Yeah, I think it's Solvan or Sorvan. Memory, so we'll blotch you there. And they ended up having a child. This child, who has taken on the identity of Morgan Edge, which is weird because Morgan Edge is from the comic books. He's also from some of the live action series, especially in Supergirl. He's also in some cartoon shows. Morgan Edge traditionally is associated with something called Intergang, which is at first you think it's a gang that works internationally on Earth, which it kind of does, but it's also kind of funded and supplied weapons through Apocalypse from Darkseid and Steppenwolf and some of those other characters over there, Granny Goodness and whatnot. So when you see the show of Superman and Lois and it introduces Morgan Edge, you're expecting, yeah, maybe they're going to do something, alien hybrid stuff. This is what Morgan Edge is doing. He's creating Kryptonian soldiers on behest of Darkseid and Apocalypse to take over the world or what have you. But what we end up finding out from this episode, in this opening scene that you've got shown there, is that no, he's not interested in any of that stuff. He just wants to restore Krypton, and he's got a device called the Eradicator to do it. And again, the Eradicator is this in name only. In the comics, the Eradicator is from when Superman dies in the comics, and it's used to save Superman and restore him. And I think that creates an artificial version of Superman as well that acts on his behalf. And the whole it's a whole craziness, the whole death and return of Superman.
So here in this scene, he says a lot. Tal Rowe, like who he is. There's even a quick little backstory as they're talking in the desert, and it's called. He's basically it's the evil brother. It's the evil Superman.
Yeah, who's about 10 years older than Superman. Was sent to Earth before Krypton blew up, and the only way that he knew of it was because he somehow had some spying device into the House of El, and he knew what was going to happen, and he decided, I'm going to save my son, and he steals Lara's crystal with her essence in it, and gives it to his child, which is 10 years old. He's sent to Earth. He lands in the wilderness in England, and a hunter or a sport hunter sees him come out of the vessel and shoots at him just instinctively. If it's instinctive to shoot a child. Apparently in England in the 80s it is, or actually I guess it'd be in the 70s.
I mean, and he makes them pay for shooting at him.
Yeah, he quickly has his heat vision, which is crazy because he's arrives at night on Earth. Like he hasn't really he's absorbing the solar energy through the reflection of the moon, but not enough to expel some. It's just weird, weird understanding of the powers.
Right, but we'll suspend disbelief. But you know what I liked was Morgan's pitch, Tal Rowe's pitch to Superman, saying we can be with our mother again. Do this with me. Like it was a very persuasive speech, and Morgan Edge is so charming to begin with. I really saw that finally, really have its weight there in that moment script.
Yeah, he's playing on the empathy. He's also playing on something that Morgan kind of never really had, because our understanding of the story is that um, shortly after Morgan was born, Lara left that family and
Right.
fell in love with Jor-El. And part of me suggests that they're doing a hybrid between the old Man of Steel comics from the 80s by
Mhm.
John Byrne, and a little bit of Man of Steel from Zack Snyder's thing,
Mm.
because they mentioned like genetic pairing, and you get the sense that Morgan Edge, this Tal-Rho character, is like a
Mhm.
biologically created in a test tube baby, as other Kryptonians were within that society, and that Cal is one that was created out of love through a natural birth and all that type of
Right.
stuff and whatnot. And it's kind
Yeah.
of a very it's a very melodrama type of thing, like the mother leaves the oppressive husband to be with their true love type of thing.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it seems kind of very weird, uh,
Yeah.
because this is like because Krypton has a very muddled society. It's not 100% fully defined. In one part, it's very much like a human society where it's governed by love and respect and mutual
Mm.
partnerships and goals.
Mhm.
Other parts, it's a technocracy where technology rules everything, and then there's another version where it's a very stale world where the species is just propagated through like a computer-assisted matching program.
Mhm.
And so
Right.
you kind of can't really get a proper sense of what it is. And while I do enjoy some of the mystery of that, um, what they're doing here is they're pretty much trying to say that Lara rebelled against an oppressive uh, society
Yeah.
and to be with the man that she loves, and and yeah, that's one of the things that, and like Tal-Rho is very resentful of that, because and this is very clear, because even though he's trying to appeal to Clark, he's pretty much saying like, your mother betrayed my father, and
Right.
but let those be bygones, and we can be with her again, because my father stole her essence crystal before you left and put it in my ship,
Mhm.
and I can help you reunite her, because what I am doing, and this is where we get the definitive understanding of what Morgan Edge Tal-Rho is doing, is he's taking all the Kryptonian souls that are in the Eradicator, that are in this technology that he brought with him from Krypton, and they are replacing human beings with them. So the souls are being integrated into their bodies, and the consciousness are going to be eventually wiped away, and they will be he'll be restoring Krypton on Earth through the population of Smallville, and because of their exposure to Kryptonite X over the last 30 to 40 years.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds good to me.
Yeah, I mean that's basically his plot, is just to restore
Yeah.
Krypton and supplant humanity with Kryptonians. So yeah, pretty evil.
Right.
And obviously, Superman says, even though if you do offer me the chance to get to know my mother, it's not fair at the cost of the rest of the planet. And so they have their fight, which doesn't really
Well, right. I
do
mean, he
much.
basically, as soon as he says no, he just starts. Tal-Rho just dives for him, and they just go through all these, like desert mountains and shit, and he's just like, I can't do this without you by my side.
Yeah,
Um,
they fight, and then Tal-Rho just leaves him alone. Just says, okay,
yeah,
that's
that
CW beats for you.
yeah. Before I go on, I got some other people that are here. I want to say hello. Um, I assume it's Slacker 2387. Can't wait for the next episode. Superman and Lois series is great. Michael Gonzalez says yes. The Reign of Superman story after Doomsday kills Supes. 4 contenders for the title come up.
Yes, so that's Steel, Superboy, the Eradicator, and Cyborg Superman.
John Henry Irons, Connor Kent,
There you go.
the Eradicator, Hank Henshaw, and
Who's an
yeah, there you go.
astronaut? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You think they're gonna get all this in there?
Probably not. I mean, it's cool that we got John Henry Irons. The Eradicator in this series seems to be a device only, and not something that's going to supplant Superman or replace him in the interim yet. if they do go that way, I'm interested in how they reconcile that. That'll be something of curiosity.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
But
Thank you, Michael. That's
yeah,
pretty cool,
that's
man.
some good stuff there. This guy knows his Superman.
Yeah, man. And that's what I want to mix this in along with is it good television storytelling. I mean, I'm having a good time, but it's great to get more insight. I just love it.
Mm-hmm. Like that scene between Talro and Clark, that was actually some pretty decent storytelling. I've granted it's an exposition dump, but there's a motivation behind it. The bad move is the fact that Talro just lets Superman go, like he just walks away, and it's like unresolved.
Right.
The one thing that's kind of interesting with regards to character motivation and writing is that if a character wants something, rarely does patience really factor in, because usually there is some sort of sense of urgency. Like there's a reason that they need it now. And especially when you come up against a foil to your plan, the last thing you want to do is give your adversary time to either regroup or formulate a plan that could thwart your own efforts and goals. But for the CW, that seems to be par for the course. It's like, oh, you're going to stop me? Well, I am just going to give you a couple of days to work that out. So see you later. It's like, no, you got to stop. It's the same thing as for superheroes when they're chasing a bad guy, and if they're like not Superman and they hop into a car, the bad guy hops into a car and drives away, the superhero just stops and is like, well, they got away. It's like, no, they don't. They usually keep going in the comics or the movies or something. They don't let them get away for a commercial break. And actually they did that in Supergirl a number of times. There was an episode with Red Tornado where they both fly, and Supergirl gets into a fight with Red Tornado. He does something, she saves a person, and the Red Tornado flies away, and she just floats there staring at him, getting ever so small or growing that distance between them. And it's like, you can fly too, and at super speeds, so why are you just standing there letting him get away? Just go after him. But yeah, that's just part of the super CW writing stuff.
Right. Because they let him, so he lets him go. And next we see Clark telling Lois that he's got a brother.
There's that. I mean, there's also a little bit with Lana and her daughter Sarah.
Oh yeah, yes. Yes, and that's important because it does kind of re-clarify that Kyle is an alcoholic.
Kyle's alcoholic, and he comes home freaked out that he blacked out and he didn't know what the heck happened, and he's not sure what's going on, and he's trying to figure this out. Right. And he's been being honest because he hasn't had a drink in a few days. But Sarah's not believing it, and Lana's saying there's things that are more complicated than what a teenager is able to observe. And it's just like a nice little breaker moment. And then we get back to the Kent farm with the military pretty much putting the garrison around the place.
Yeah, what's funny too is that Lana says, "I'm not going to be talked to by a teenager." Like she starts putting her foot down, and then Sarah takes off. The CW, it's like I'm surprised they even let the parents show any discipline at all to their kids.
Yeah. I mean, just once you want to see Lana just put her over her knee and just give her a smack, right? Or I haven't had to do this in 8 years because
right. Just smack that kid
or something. Yeah.
You're all acting up. It's time for a smackdown. Stay home. But yeah, okay. So then we're back at the Kent farm.
Yes, this is where Clark is reconveying the information. Again, this is not the best of scenes because they do it half good. So the first half that they do good is they don't have Clark repeat everything that Talro said. We come in after he's already done that to the family. So now we're getting their reactions and their situations. But again, it's still going over a lot of the same stuff. It's not bringing as much new to everything.
Yeah. What did my notes say? I mean, it's pretty quick because as far as Jonathan telling there's that moment where the brothers Jonathan tells Jordan about the multiverse, about I saw the daughter, I
Mhm.
saw like what our dad can become, or what the story was over there.
Yeah, I mean it's
I have
kind of
that
like,
early on here, and
yeah,
then yeah, I have that
that's
early
a little
on.
bit of the trickier stuff there, because that's a part where, because this scene really is just to set up that, okay, um, is this true? Like, is Talro telling the truth? And so he talks to his wife, his kids first.
Hmm.
They caution about trying to do this on his own, which
Hmm.
who else is going to be? Who else can
Yeah.
really help him at this point? Jordan's still in the infancy of his powers. Uh, they're it is kind of reinforcing, as you're talking about, like John Henry Irons's
Hmm.
prediction that Scram would turn. And yeah, Clark just doesn't quite know what to do, so he flies to the fortress to seek out and verify Talro's story.
Verify baby's mamas.
He's like, was there another kid? And Jor-El tells him the truth. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is what went down.
Yeah.
The Eradicator was not designed to implant consciousness into other people. It was considered an archive of Kryptonian knowledge and whatnot, and it was stolen from them.
Hmm. Hmm.
And now it's being used as against humanity. And yeah, Clark's having some trouble with this, and doing the whole like, how could you never tell me? And he's like, well, I didn't know. Like, how is Jor-El's AI supposed to know that the Talro or Morgan Edge made it to Earth and survived? Like,
Right.
it's not his principal thing. So you have that weird nothing arguments. Like, you should have told me. It's like, how am I supposed to know? There's no way I could have known that. Like,
Right.
I'm just a pre-programmed computer simulation of your dad. It's like,
So I guess right at the same time, or right after, um, Kyle's describing the machine to Lana, Lois is trying to call her, and then Lois shows up at the front door. Knock,
uh,
knock.
yeah, they figure it out. Yeah, because Lois knows what's going on.
Right. And Lana and Lois are talking about the front door, and then Kyle all of a sudden turns into evil Kyle and goes after their necks. And
And this is
Lois,
where, yeah.
go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead.
Yeah. Lois has, I guess, like a little Krypton, little
Piece of
valve,
kryptonite in her
little
hand.
piece of
Yeah.
kryptonite in her hand. Because I'm like, how did she knock a big dude out that was choking her out? Well, there's always a kryptonite, and so then the army rushes in and captures him and takes him away. Kyle is captured.
Kyle is captured. He's also not Kyle at all. Like, he doesn't even know certain things about what's going on with anybody, which is it reaffirms the conscious replacement. And part of Smallville gets a tent city built in their downtown area. And Lois then has to kind of like bring about some new information of what they found. Like, there's a facility, like trying to figure out which facility is Morgan Edge doing these transformations in. Um, they try to come up with an action plan to get this technology away from him, so that they can try and fix the people that have been possessed essentially by Kryptonian spirits. So we've got a clear directive now, and which is going to be the next chapter of the episode. And Lana's provides the information of like, who are the people that were in this excellency program, and these are the ones we have to look out for. We have to capture, and we have to
Right.
save their souls. Essentially, is what they're doing.
Yeah. So Lana, Lois, and Clark regroup. They locate the doctor who was in the episode before.
Yes.
And because Lana recognizes, and why she wouldn't recognize him before, because they had the paperwork, who knows.
I don't know if she recognized him. I think she's like, that's the only person she doesn't recognize.
Right. So
yeah,
they eventually get a GPS on the dude. And
yeah, they somehow figure out who he is, where he is.
Right. And then Superman takes off. and then this is where the boys, the brothers, kind of spill the beans a little bit about like, hey, your dad's not your dad, and don't be hard on your mom and don't be hard on your dad because he's being controlled by alien tech, so to speak.
Yeah, and our grandpa's involved with this, which is why we've been acting all weird this entire time. It's like it's kind of like it's true,
Yeah.
but it's not all of the truth, and it's
Yeah.
a fair thing to admit because if she knows any more, again, her life could be in any further danger.
It's just that was kind of silly, but they eventually like, let's go see your dad because he's the only one that can know. All of a sudden, she wants to see your dad. So they're gonna go.
And he's in a cell that's got kryptonite radiation on him. That's really doing him a number, and Sam's trying to get information out of him. But eventually the army locates where this guy is, and Superman goes and gets the dude, but he also protects him too because the soldiers want to basically take him out.
Right.
And Superman's like, no, we need him. He knows the most about this machine, and that knowledge is useful for reversing the process. And
here's a still.
You
can't really tell, but he's right there in the shadow. This guy right here.
Yeah.
And this compound is built right in the middle of a Smallville.
Just in downtown Smallville, Main Street or whatever.
There's a moment where Lana Lang is with Lois, and to me, this is the first time their energy of these three gets a little interesting. Lana's like, oh my god, he's really here. Like she had never seen Superman up close, which I find that kind of interesting,
Well, it's kind of like the common aspect of Superman that so many people who watch the character or read the character forget is that Superman's in and out so fast. Not a whole lot of people get a good look at him.
That's great.
Or if he is doing a heroic feat, they're spectators from a great distance away.
Yeah.
And that's to the advantage. But you get this charming little moment where Lana's really impressed by Superman, and Lois has to kind of play a little bit with that. And
so I guess they need to they explain that this brain has all the essence of all these people from Krypton, and the mother's essence needs to be implanted in someone here from Smallville. And Lana's like, I'll do it.
She's just quick to volunteer because her husband's been taken over. It's her town. Lois can't do it because she doesn't have the radiation from ex-kryptonite in her. And so this is where our actress Emmanuelle Chriqui gets to stretch her legs a little bit and play the brainy Kryptonian scientist.
Right. She plays Laura.
Yeah, she plays Lara, and it's a very endearing scene. She undergoes the procedure. She explains how to reverse it. You need a great deal of energy to filter through the eradicator to recall all the essences out, and it has to be done within a certain time. Otherwise, the Kryptonian essence will completely take over the host body.
Right. So basically, the plan is Superman is going to become he says at the last minute as it happened that he's going to be the energy source.
Yeah.
He's got all. So he takes off. He has another talk with Morgan's Edge. This is actually where Morgan's Edge with Tal Rho, Midnight's Edge. I keep doing that. This is actually the last time they talk, and the filmmaking's kind of cool, man. Because let me get I guess as the sun goes down, the sun becomes different colors. The horizon. And
it's clearly artificially done because actually the shot that you got here, that was how it was normally shot during the day, and then they just threw in an orange filter over top.
Right. But it was cool because it showed the sunset, and you see all the recruits, all the loyal subjects, flying towards them, like these little specks.
Yeah.
And Tal Rho saying that they're coming to meet us. It's like this is it. This is do or die time.
Yeah,
And
this happens after we get a nice little thing from Lara, which is like she's very happy her son grew up, fell in love, had children, was able to have a life
oh
that
yeah, we forget
you know.
about that. We forget. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
But
Please go over that scene.
we get
It's a
this
beautiful scene.
it is a beautiful scene. We get this just this closure, so to speak, not just on Clark's end, but also on Lara's essences, and that her son grew up to have a great life. They do throw in the whole intention that he was sent to Earth to be a hero, which is not true. But again, poor writers just think that way.
They're trying.
They're trying, but no, like I mean, she also approves of Lois as a spouse for her kid, which I guess every boy was happy to have their mother approve of who they end up with.
Mm-hmm.
And it's she's a very sweet, caring, and she's also completely understanding that once Superman uses this energy source, his energy on the Eradicator, that she's going to be gone. So she's very confident and fun character. And what we end up seeing here is that we have this setup now where Clark has the essence of his mother through the Eradicator. He has the essence of his father in the Forces of Solitude, and ideally the goal would be, from his perspective, is that once he finishes this, he can reunite those stones together. Now he has both his parents in the Fortress of Solitude. That looks to be like a background motivation, something for the audience to infer from all these little pieces that are being played out on the board. And then once everything's all set up and Lara has programmed the Eradicator to recall all the essences after that great surge of energy, Superman meets Tal-Rho as this big wave of human-possessed Kryptonians fly towards him. And Superman very much rejects his proposition, swoops through Smallville, grabs the Eradicator, flies up towards the sun, and using his heat vision, he
and right on cue, Script Doctor.
Yep.
There you go.
But an interesting aspect happens as well, is that the Torval realizes what's happening, but the rest of the Kryptonians don't, and they use their heat vision on Superman as well, and he kind of captures that into the Eradicator to help him charge this all up. So
so it kind of all reflects into that Eradicator, right?
Exactly. It all goes into that Eradicator, and it actually allows Superman not to do what this new power that he has, which is called the solar flare, where he expels all of his solar energy through his heat vision, and he becomes kind of essentially human or human-like for a number of hours, 24, 48, whatever, until his cells replenish the solar radiation energy. And so what ends up happening here is that he doesn't use all of it. Like, he uses a lot, and he's very weakened as a result. But no, he succeeds because the Kryptonians themselves inadvertently bring about their own demise, so to speak.
Yeah, it's a fantastic, because it's almost like a quick little chase in the sky, where Tal-Rho and his minions, you just kind of seeing their heads, which is a creative way to show them flying on a tight budget, and
Yep.
And their red eyes, which I thought was like such a throwback feeling, like it was almost 50s in a way that
it was a great image. It's just a whole, all these pairs of red glowing eyes just closing in, and their shadow bodies just blackening out the background. And
I don't know if you guys got to see that scene yet, but it's fantastic. And like Script Doctor says, Kal-El is just we forget how smart this guy is. Superman does what he does best, and kind of not like you said, he gets zapped for doing it, not totally, but he also all those minions, all the Lois subjects become themselves again.
Yeah, there's one thing that was kind of a little concerning for me, and that was all of them are very high in the air, and they all lose their Kryptonian essence and their powers, and then they just fall. And
they would have,
think they should be dead on impact, but apparently, I guess it took a little bit of time for those essences to leave, because they land on the ground and they're perfectly fine.
Script Doctor, me and you think alike. We're like, They can't fucking survive that fall. They're human again.
They're human now. Instant. Like, is it instant? No,
Is
it
it
slowly
instant? Do they
fades
get
away.
right? I guess it does. It's like thud. Oh, ouch.
But yeah, Kyle
And
Cushing, he wakes up in the prison and he's like, "What's going on? Where have I
right,
been?" He
right.
sees
He
his
wake right.
daughter.
He sees his daughter reunited by the hands through the glass, and then we see Superman make it to the mouth, the entrance of the Fortress of Solitude. He's like, he's got the Eradicator in one hand, but he's crawling, man. He's crawling.
He is drained of a lot of energy, and and then that's where we have this dramatic cliffhanger type of thing. Like, is he going to make it inside?
Right. Yeah, it's fantastic, and then it just ends.
Well, there's also this one little tag is Morgan Edge's assistant.
Oh,
the other
oh my god!
Ginger.
Yeah,
she
please.
doesn't. She still has her Kryptonian powers. So there's something up going on with her. Like, how is she able to retain?
Did we see Ginger there with the heads? Was she part of the heads? Maybe she was.
She wasn't part of the heads.
Well, maybe she was back at Fortress of Solitude, Tal Rose Fortress.
Possibly.
Remember, they meet up back in the desert, and we find out that that's where Tal Rose. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. You're actually bringing up some good statements. So, like, she was in the Fortress of Solitude. Tal Rose was there. Was with the rest of Kryptonians. But what we end up learning from this is that perhaps the Ginger is not actually possessed human as a Kryptonian, but a Kryptonian as well. Because
that's what Slacker is saying here. She's fully Krypton already. Okay.
Yeah, she's probably fully Krypton already. Because again, like other people who weren't with that group, like Kyle Cushing, he was imprisoned. He wasn't near that, and his soul was restored. And it's all based on like the Eradicator itself. So if it's all connected to the Eradicator, once the Eradicator, I guess, is purged of the power, anyone that has not been submitted over to the Kryptonian influence would vanish. And that appears to have been the case here. So she must have been one of the first people to have undergone this procedure a great deal of time ago. Sure. And is immune from this reactive aspect of it. And you also have to wonder, are there others as well that we just don't know about as of yet?
Right. Fantastic. So that is the end of episode 10. Oh, Mother, where art thou? Now, before we get on to the last episode, it's episode 11 as far as time marked here, the current episode. Let's say hello to a few people. Jesse Miller's here. What's up, Jesse? Good to see you, buddy. E. Clay Thomason says, does it bother anyone else that Superman and seemingly the supervillains can hear any conversation in the world at any time? It seems a little too overpowered, a writer's crutch at times.
Let's see.
I mean, have any as you contemplate that, D. Bud Martin, Tom X Edge? Yes, Tom X Edge is always here. Tom X Edge. He's not Midnight's Edge. He's not Tom. He's Tom X Edge. And coming in with $10 is a member of the channel, The Great Mexican Iron Man. I hope more people catch this stream later. By the way, your previous segments of analysis are great. Nice work in the series. Great to hear two intelligent guys talking about something positive in the fandom. Thank you, Mexican Iron Man. You can catch, we have about 5 other videos where we've broken down all every episode so far. Today we're doing it live. We're just doing 3, and then we'll talk about what kind of format we want to do moving forward. But we didn't want to wait too long. Maybe we'll go weekly. Maybe we'll watch tonight and
it airs tonight or tomorrow night.
Tomorrow. Tomorrow night. And I wanted us to get this in before tomorrow night. That's for sure. And Force of Light Entertainment. Hey, have only watched the first 5 episodes, but I'm really enjoying the show. Let me tell you, ladies, for me, it gets better and better. In fact, I think there was, what did we say? Those 4 through 7 weren't my favorites.
Yeah, there were 3. Yeah, 4 through 7 are a little iffy. They feel a little off. Again, like my suspicion is that those episodes 4 through 7 is where they started to change course of the direction of the show, because they got a feeling that they're going in a weird direction. And yeah, the whole introduction of making Morgan Edge also a Kryptonian instead of going through his more traditional storyline seems like a very deliberate rewriting and changing of direction of the show, because they're not even acknowledging the fact that he owns the Daily Planet anymore. They're not acknowledging the fact that he fired Clark Kent and Lois Lane quit, and all
that
the
was
things
all in
that
the first two
changed.
episodes.
That was on the first two episodes, and it's all changed.
It's all changed,
and it's very, very much divorced from the pilot.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah, because that pilot was all about
I'll challenge you a little bit when we get to our next episode, but I want to say hello to a couple of members of the channel. That 70s Rock fan, he's a member of the channel. He's an awesome dude. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. Just another red shirt, another amazing dude. If you guys please consider becoming a member of the channel. We have awesome live exclusive live concerts and one-on-ones with filmmakers every month, besides all our discounts on our merch. The merch store is coming back, all the good stuff. Thank you guys for being here. You guys are giving us some great comments as well. And yes, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Script Doctor. It's great to have the Script Doctor here. And oh my God, is she a Latina? Because them Latinas, man, Rome is on the other side of town, and she knows everything I'm saying right now.
I mean, granted, it is being broadcast on the internet, but yeah, whether it's
she don't watch this.
You don't know, man. She might.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, hilarious. I guess going back to that super hearing thing.
Yeah, you got something on that?
Well, I mean, it's a weird power, because in some writers they say he can only hear it when he focuses. Other writers say he hears everything all the time, and he just focuses his attention on what's around him. There's another version where he's learned to only register keywords and key sounds, so that's how he knows danger, and he hears everything that's on the planet. Apparently, like he has no limit to his hearing within Earth, so he can hear, and he has a good sense of direction. But they also kind of address this a little bit in the show with him and the kids, is that he can hear what they're saying and doing all the time, and that's an invasion of their privacy. So he decides, I'm not going to do that. And he's like, says, pretty much if you need me, use the signal, and that's what I'll hear. And but you also know, like, the dad thing, and also a thing that, and especially in the comics, Lois understands is if Clark can't find Lois and he senses there a problem, he's going to listen for her. And and Lois understands that, like, if she's in danger and Superman's not coming in the time that he normally comes, she's gonna call out for him or do something to get his attention.
Right.
That's kind of like the unspoken understanding that they have. But in the casualness of things, like, he's not going to be listening in or peering in on other people's conversations. And for the most part, at least for the more better stories of Superman, he doesn't eavesdrop unless it's something he suspects is relevant to what he's doing. And if he gets a sense that it's not, he immediately stops and moves on, which is
right. He's a master at this point. He's mastered that power. Absolutely. And you're right. Wouldn't want to hear everything from the planet. Would be very distracting. Okay, here we are, episode 11, which I believe. Oh, it's a great title. You know what? Here, let me. I know where it's at. Let me get the title really quick. It's in the description. A brief reminiscence in between cataclysmic events. I mean. That is, before we get into this,
came in late type of thing,
right. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Before we break down this episode, can I just tell you how impressed I am with this gentleman playing Clark Kent and Superman?
Tyler Hoechlin,
Can we just give this man some fandom props? Because wow, what I mean, this is probably. When's the last time we had a great Superman like this? I mean, Henry Cavill's great as Superman if they would write him as that. I mean, if you imagine Henry Cavill doing this, I mean, that would be amazing.
That would be something, yeah. I mean, the funny fact is that Henry Cavill in recent interviews has behaved more like Superman than he has on screen as the character.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So yeah, but like Tyler Hoechlin, yeah, he's good. I would say anyone who's a fan of the show, tweet at him and at the CW's Superman Lois and ask them to just let him sport the spit curl as Superman, like that classic iconic little hair.
Yeah,
thing.
you won't give that up, huh?
Dude, that's one, like, aside from the red trunks and the spit curl and the cape, like those are the three things that really defined him outside of that shield on his chest.
Well,
and
speaking of the red trunks, those are prominent in this next episode.
They are, yeah. And you can actually, the costume looks far better than the current one he has on the show. And also there's something I picked up on in this episode that actually pertains a little bit to what we saw with the Supergirl actress on The Flash as well, that I'll point out. Something that when we get there, it's something interesting that I noticed. But
well, let's get right into it. It picks up right where we left off, where he is struggling to get into the cave.
Kind of. It actually picks up with young Clark walking towards
God, that's right.
of where the fortress will be built. He's got the red stone from his ship. He doesn't know what's going on. He tosses it out of frustration, and then this giant fortress just builds itself up around him, and he's running for his life away from it until he sees the entrance and goes inside and finds his father, and we get a nice little monologue of him being told, like, hey, these next few years you're going to learn what you can do and how to control it. And they do this little running montage thing where as a kid he's running around the icy tundra. Yes. And then they do a great CG transition into Tyler Hoechlin in the same clothes doing the same thing, and then he does his first fly, and yeah, he's like laughing, he's happy, and it's
fantastic,
quite enjoyable. Yeah.
What happened? I wanted to.
Then he returns back to the farm to see his mom just sweeping on the stoop, and happy that he's back, and he figures out what he's going to do, but he wants to see Lana first. And when he goes to try and catch up with her, he sees that she's engaged to Kyle, and he's just got his job at the fire station. So this is like about 20 years ago. I think the Harry Potter is in the
Friday Night Lights. I think it said on the marquee Friday Night Lights. Maybe there's
a movie. Yeah, it was the movie that they were looking at. Let me see if I can.
Which came out about 20 years ago. But here's that moment where he's first flying.
Yep.
And it comes out of that montage where he's a teenager running on the ice, and then he's a man running the ice, and then he's finally ready to go back to Smallville, and then so basically it's the best of the Superman.
It's a highlight, yeah.
It's a highlight of Superman being Superman, and it is fantastic.
It's fun. So yeah, so basically for understanding what year it is, it's at the Sequoia Theater. It's a double feature. Harry Potter's at 6:30, followed by Friday Night Lights at 9:45.
Nice.
And so yeah, that's what year it is. So Harry Potter's like 1999, I think, or
around there. It's around
2001. 2001. So 20 years ago, pretty much.
Right, pretty much.
And yeah, so you get an idea of what's going on. So he gets a little saddened by that, but he talks to his mom, and she gives him the costume she made that she had a dream of him wearing.
Right. But not as a boy, as a man.
But as a man, oddly enough, the measurements are spot on, even though she hasn't seen him for like 10 years. And
script.
No, it's funny.
Yeah.
Well, as they look at it, she's like, it's just missing something for the chest, and that's where Clark's like, well, I've been staring at my father's chest piece, for the last 10 years at the portrait, so it's kind of like this,
right?
And so she makes it, and it takes us into his move to Metropolis.
Yes.
And that segues into the little bit of the recap that we got in the pilot.
Yeah.
Clark's just walking along the street, and this green little car is going out of control.
Yeah.
He does what we see here. He just opens up his chest, his shirt, and transforms into Superman and flies in, captures the car, does his little thing with the kid, flies away.
Let's we don't mind. Hopefully, we won't get taken down, but we don't mind the claim, the strike, whatever. Let's watch this.
Yeah, sure.
So, I mean, I can watch this over and over. This part over and over and over. It's so damn cool. And of course, he's got his boots and he's got his trunks and he's got his little yellow belt buckle there. All right.
Yeah. He flies. He does his little thing with the kid.
Thanks. Cool costume.
Thanks. My mom made it for me.
And he flies away, and then he this awesome part, he hops into the phone booth. Remember those kids?
I mean, I love that we got it. It gives that line too. Thanks, my mom made it just a deeper meaning because she did.
Yeah,
she did. And yeah, I mean, this is like straight up legit. I was like, what? It was great. That was fantastic. And was it you or Clobbering Times that told me about the green cards, an homage to the first Action Comics?
Well, in one of our things, I talked about how the green card, it's in the Action Comics #1, but Superman's not saving people in it. There's nobody in the car. He's crashing it against a mountain because the people were drunk drivers,
right?
And they didn't deserve to drive. It's more of an assault than it is a heroic act.
Yeah, we got some nice comments here. A member of the channel, Dave Bob, my mom made it. Yep, It was awesome. Save lives and the people in the car too. That's right. Darth Maul, Mail or Maul, makes me tear up in happiness. The same here, man. Giddy. I'm giddy about it. That is cool. That's right, Haster. There are phone booths still. Yeah, what part makes you giddy? The part that there's actually phone booths. It's a set piece, guys.
Yeah,
but,
like the phone booths are few and far between, but yeah, they're still around.
They're still there.
Don't see them in many big cities these days anymore, unfortunately. But
yeah. They're still there. So let's watch a little bit more. All right.
Did you see that?
See what?
Some guy just saved a kid from getting killed by a car, and then he flew up into the sky.
Oh, he flew?
Flew, like a bird or a plane or whatever. He was crazy.
Did you see what he looked like?
He looked like a guy in a cape that was flying. Someone has to care about this.
She was good.
Yeah, she was good.
That's not easy to do where you're in for one scene and all you're doing is you have to give exposition. Was it
just exposition? Yeah,
right. Yeah,
but like there's a little bit of a back and forth because he's like, what, he flew? And she's like, yeah. And like, what do you look like? The dude in a cape. Like,
yeah.
What else can you do? Yeah, it's probably one of the better takes on Superman for TV. If you take a look, go way back to the Lois and Clark Superman pilot, you have a great montage with Kay Callan as Ma Kent making the costume for Clark Kent, and it's very mom and son-ish relationship. Like all the embarrassing aspects are thrown in there. And then there's the scene where Superman shows up for the first time, and people are in the bleachers going, what is that, a bird? Is that a plane? And some guy with binoculars like, nope, just some guy in a pair of blue tights and a cape. And then everybody in the bleachers just throws food at him because they don't believe what he's saying. And it's this really charming, honest take on the stuff happening. And we've got a little bit of an essence of that here, where this one's like, this guy flew. It's like he flew. It's like, yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Well, that's a great word. There's a lot of charm in this episode until you realize what's really happening in this episode. I mean, there's still charm because there's still real moments. Is that we find out it's not in real time, and Here's another little 30-second piece. Let's watch this.
And you are who exactly? Mr. Metropolis? Red and Blue Man?
I'm sure you'll come up with something.
Who's that?
Superman.
Oh yeah. Show. And I gotta say, man, she's becoming more and more enjoyable to watch. Can I just say that as well?
Yeah, no, she's a very good actress.
Yeah, I mean and you could see why they're cast. You know, with the I did see a scene of them before in that other TV show that was pretty lame, but they're really getting the shine here.
Yeah, they popped up on the Supergirl show. But like what we have here before we get to this moment is we have Clark kind of gets a job as Perry's assistant at the Daily Planet because he has no experience as a journalist, which makes sense because he's been in the Fortress for all those years. And he's paired up with Lois, and she's on this story about some guy setting fires to buildings in the neighborhood, and she wants to stop him. And,
right, that there's a little bit of a little bit of a wokey line here or there where she's like, you know, Superman stealing my headlines because there's all this systemic evils happening.
Yeah,
it's like, come on.
It's one guy. It's one guy.
It's one guy who's
with a
going
flamethrower
after a brown guy, and it's like, you know, we really wish the writers could have just. Why did they even have to write that? It's so silly. It's so
no,
silly.
this villain that he goes up against, he's got all the paraphernalia of like the bad people from the Second World War. he claims that the neighborhood he grew up in is being stolen by these people who have immigrated to the city, which I mean, it's not how it works.
Right.
But the thing is, the journey as they try to figure out who this guy is and follow him, like Clark is falling for Lois, and Lois is actually falling for Clark first. Like she doesn't even care about Superman, which is very different to a lot of the other takes of.
Right. I
the
thought
character.
that was interesting. That's not. You know, I hadn't seen that before.
Yeah, it's like Clark, who's the core of the person, is the one that's you know, wooing Lois, so to speak. And he has a great entrance where, you know, you have that Mashable one from the Donner film where he catches her from falling down and then catches the helicopter. This one here, Superman jumps in front of a flamethrower and protects her from fire and just turns around casually and is like, smiles, hi, how you doing? And then just dispatches the guy quite effortlessly.
Sure. Which
leads right into that scene where she names him. But also in that scene, you'll kind of notice, I'll see if I can try and bring it up around, because like, Superman also uses his heat vision and then captures a couple of grenades and stops them from doing any harm to other people. And then Lois uses her taser to take out the guy. So she does some physical aspects to it as well. But let me see if my computer will allow me to share the screen. But
okay. I'm pretty sure that's where we see a blurred image.
So I'm sharing this little bit here from what I pulled off.
Let me take that out. There you go.
There we go. So you'll kind of notice the weird muscle stuff on the costume here.
Okay.
It doesn't line up properly. There's also another shot later on. I'll play it just for a little bit here, but you see the law line here? That is the bicep accessory that is wedged itself out of place. And then you also take a look at the abs, and they're far more. They're not ab looking. Like they kind of are, but they aren't. They're too small and too narrow and too tight. And
just notice that.
This is like a template that you kind of see for some muscle suits, and unfortunately I think they use the same template for the actors who are playing Supergirl in The Flash, because this is how it's going to look up. Yeah, this is how it's going to look with her debut, because what we looked at looked like weird crab legs or something it
looked like her ab muscles were cramping.
Exactly. But these are the exact same ones, and that it just with the photography of the camera. And it's then you got the weird lines here that you're not supposed to have. Like the shoulder definition part here is great, but like
Uh-huh.
you're not supposed to have that line, and you're not supposed to have this secondary line, and you're not supposed to have this guy. And that's just the add-on stuff, and something's wrong with the undersuit going on here. Let's see. I think there's also a point where like he offers his hand to shake. Here it is. And see, there's that very strict hard line there, and then the wrinkles. Yeah, so it may be partially intentional on the Supergirl part, but it's also, again, partial incompetence, partial maybe rush job at that. Someone who is looking through the lens, or the director's like, yeah, it's good enough, as opposed to we should probably redo that scene and fix what's going on in the bicep there to make it look like it's a real muscle and not a padded suit.
Now, I believe there's a moment, definitely before he takes off, but maybe right after he defeats everyone, that he sees a blurred shadow.
Yes. Some sort of weird shadow is popping up in his peripherals.
Yeah. And that, but we continue with the flashbacks, right?
Yeah. Let's see. Here we go. This was actually a fun scene.
Yeah. So she gets the exclusive, which establishes that he's shown up around Metropolis now for like over a year, and they have a where you're from, all the
the basic questions. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a good shot of Tyler there as Superman.
And
yeah,
go ahead.
It's part of like a recorded interview, and something happens with a mic, and they have to stop, and so she goes to her producer, and the producer's like, oh, Superman's like really into you, and she's like, well, too bad, I'm in love with Clark. And she's like, oh my god, that dorky guy. She's like, yeah, he's dorky, but I love him. It's like, have you told him yet? It's like, no. Well, this guy Superman has heard. So she's, it's like a little charming thing. Let's see if we can, there it is, that between these two, that's what they're doing. And yeah. And then he's just happens to listen. You could probably hear without super hearing at that point. I've been in studios like that. Everything travels. That's why there's a quiet on set sign and all that stuff.
Yeah, that was a great scene. And what we're seeing at the beginning is these longer, fuller scenes, and as we speed up, they kind of get quicker. I noticed. I saw it twice already this episode, and
yeah, as soon as he tells her, then it just kind of gets this really rushed thing. So, like, he brings her Lois to the farm. There he is. There's the like, again. They pull in all the stuff that they shot during the pilot, and then they shot stuff around it more recently.
Yeah, is that what they did? Because I felt that what they did in the pilot, a lot of it's paying off in this episode.
Yeah, well, what they really did
at least for me.
Oh no, I would agree with that. Yeah, they did their little recap in the pilot, and then as soon as they got the go ahead, they're like, okay, now we got to write the episode that fills in all those gaps for whatever we want to do for the mid-season type of thing. And they did the production of this much later, but luckily because it's within the first season, and they're not doing it years later after that, it's you can it looks more cohesive. It's definitely them not going back and be like, oh, you can totally tell the actors are a couple of years older here instead of back then. So they did all that, and they got their honeymoon. You got this like great little moment where Jor-El is trying to scream at Clark to get out.
Yes, that was fantastic. And
it's the interruption, and he's back in the in their apartment. Well,
he's freaking out because he's clearly being distracted from her great news.
Yeah, which is that she's pregnant, and he's super happy about that. And then this is where they find out it's twins. And
here,
there's the shadow. You can see it right there. And just there we go. There he is.
Yep.
Like, there's Morgan Edge just appearing somehow in his past.
Yeah. So what happens is we quickly discover that Morgan has been reviewing his brother's past life. Like everything that we just saw, Morgan's been reviewing it. It's not like, you know, Superman's been, you know, like recuperating, you know, like he's just dreaming. Morgan actually captures Superman. He never makes it into the exactly there. He never makes it into his Fortress of Solitude. He makes it into Morgan snatches him and takes him to his own. And he puts this mind thing on him. That's very old school. That little
Yeah.
I thought that was great. And we get more backstory and more of his father.
Yeah, like right now, Superman is drained of a lot of energy. He's not as powerful normally, and he's just getting more about how, the Morgan Edge's dad has guided him once he was able to find a good place to set up his own Fortress of Solitude, so to speak. Just trying to see what we got here.
And he even says that. He's like, mine's, you know, never. Why did you come out here? Mine's in the desert.
Lots of sun.
Lots of sun. Yeah.
And then we get interrupted with a scene with Lois and the Cushings, trying to figure out what's going on there. Then Sarah wants to have a moment alone with Jordan, and she makes a move on him.
Jordan's so lucky.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, oh good, the girl I like, she likes me back and wants a relationship.
Yay, we're together.
That's not going to last long. It's a CW show. Something's going to happen.
Right. Which is only going to complicate more things going forward.
I am hoping against all hopes that they don't try to make it a love triangle between Jonathan and Jordan and her. That would just it'd be wrong, and it'd be very much against what we've seen of Jonathan so far. Like, he's not romantically interested in her in any way. He's happy with her as a friend, and he's kind of interested in this other chick that doesn't like him anyways. So it's
I got my theories, but let's so they become a couple, and mom notices it, and you know, make sure you're not a jerk. She gives her little mom speech.
Yeah.
You know.
And and then that's when here we go.
That's when they meet
Morgan
Uncle
Edge shows up. Yeah.
No, Uncle Talro.
Uncle Talro shows up.
Which is where Jordan tries to and it's great because, you know, Jordan tries to defend, you know, he's going to protect his mom, you know.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, he's got some power to him where he could do something.
And he they talk, and basically he tries to zap him.
Yep, he just does that, and
child, sit your ass down.
Yeah.
So there's a little. This is kind of towards the end of the episode, because most of the episode has been, you know,
just the reminiscing. Yeah.
Right. And so present day storyline is very quick. Basically, he says to Superman, "I will kill your family if you do not bow to me, if you do not join me." And that's really it. And Superman submits.
We've got let's see if we can, a lot of one thing that was kind of weird with this episode. I don't they do a flashback part, and I don't know if this is just what happened when it aired in my area, but they showed the compositing test footage of the rising of the desert fortress instead of the final product. I wonder if it's because this isn't the.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, it's like they somehow it just slipped in, and but yeah, they go through. Yeah, here it is. Let's see. He does this thing because this is his part.
Right. This is him arriving to. This is how he gets his little fortress of solitude. I like that little kid.
There it
actor.
is. Yeah, the V5A effects.
Yeah. Oh my god.
The temp VFX at the bottom there is like, oh, how did that slip
Oh my
by?
god. You know what? I saw this on the high seas. I'm like, oh, this is the high seas, right? That's just like then whoever You're
Oh,
actually telling me that this.
This is
Oh.
this is broadcast, because if you see in the bottom right there, that's CTV Sci-Fi. So I got the app for that, so I can pull my content for the stuff off of that.
That's hilarious, man.
And this was broadcast.
Yeah. Oh
Uh,
wow.
And it's like, whoa, that's not cool. Somebody got either fired or a Stern talking to.
Right.
We got property
Yeah.
of like the of NS Pictures, line LC106-0321. So they did this. They shot this in March 6th of 2021. So that's the production schedule.
Uh-huh.
So during the hiatus, that's when they shot this, which further reinforces that. Yep, they took this story completely to a different direction. Then
Mhm. Yeah. Well, how many months did they have off? You're right.
they had 6 weeks off. Yeah.
And well, they had 6 weeks. 6 weeks off of the airing of it, but they had even longer where they had stopped filming, to where they picked up filming again, didn't they? And
Well, they picked up filming around episode 2, broadcast date of episode 2.
okay, which was
Um,
like February,
which is around February, yeah.
late February.
And
They had
because
taken
again, they
off-
got the way that the schedule worked is because of the pandemic, a lot of shows and things had to be shuffled around. So they had already shot the first bit of Supergirl,
Uh-huh.
and they needed break time in order to because again, with the pandemic rules, it slows production down. So they already shot a first few episodes of Lois and Superman Lois.
Mm-hmm.
So those were already in post production. Those were going to go, and they said, well, since we have to abide by these new rules and it's going to take production a little longer, what we'll do is we'll break it up. We'll air the episodes of Supergirl after we air the episodes we have in the can for Superman and Lois, and that will give us enough production time to get ahead of schedule and then play out the rest of the season. And then if we have to do a break, we can do the tail end of Supergirl, and mix and match it a little bit on the same airing time, because they are airing on the same time slot. They're just rotating the quarters of the year of how they're doing it. So that's basically what ended up happening after this was being shot, and it was written pretty much as the last maybe episode 5 was airing that week. So that's how far ahead they kind of were. And
back to the story. So Superman literally submits, and he takes him back to his den there, and we meet his papa, Talro's papa. I forgot this guy's name. And
something Rex Row or something, or
Rex Row.
I don't know.
And they basically he does this to Superman, and they had showed it earlier. He did this exactly to the young Talro, and it basically is just like evil Krypton juice.
It's something, yeah.
And he becomes, and he's basically it's what that vision of what we saw as the alternate Superman. Earth. We saw that in the first couple episodes.
Yeah, that's what we ended up seeing. And so some sort of manipulation is being infected into Clark, and there he is suffering from it, trying to resist, I guess. He's in the weakened state.
Yeah, that's him. Enduring it. Maybe he's trying to fight it. If anyone can and fake it, it's gonna be him. I can't see him completely, submitting without a plan. So, okay, this happens. Lois Lane makes a phone call on the house phone, which I think is interesting.
She memorized a phone number.
She memorized the phone number. Yeah, there's evil Superman. Nice. Right. And and she basically says, you were right. This is happening. Superman has turned.
Yeah. To she called John Henry Irons.
She calls John Henry Irons.
She needs his help, and we're probably going to get a new Steel thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's him. Like, there's definitely some conflict there, so we get to find out, I guess, tomorrow night. What's the next step?
So we're gonna wrap this up, everyone, and who's been with us, which is amazing. Please check out all our episodes. I have a All Things Superman and Lois playlist. Please check that out. That would be wonderful. We do every episode, me and Script Doctor. So let's talk. We've gotten all the way up to episode 11. There's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's 5 episodes left. All right. Yep. And we know the title of tomorrow's episode, and we know the title of the very last episode as far as what IMDb has put up for us. Let me read you those titles, and then I want to get your kind of like general sweeping predictions for the rest of the show, how it might end, and then we'll take it from there. So yeah, cool. This is what I got off of IMDb as far as, and anyone can see it there. Through the Valley of Death is what tomorrow night's episode 12 is called. Through the Valley of Death. So obviously that's a desert reference, Death Valley, Valley of Death.
It's a religious reference, but for some of these writers, part of me thinks it's a Dangerous Times reference from that movie and song.
Mm-hmm. And then the final episode, which will air for this season 1, Last Sons of Krypton. Last Sons of Krypton.
Yeah. So
what are your yeah, go for it, man.
I think by that episode, Jordan's going to learn to fly. I just see that coming based on how quickly his powers are coming to fruition now. I'm kind of on the fence because I'm pretty sure they're going to dispatch Morgan Edge in some way, or it's going to be left as a cliffhanger. I hope they don't give Jonathan powers yet. I think the longer they can put that off, the better for the show, especially if they're going to maintain this level of quality. Because the more that he behaves because Jonathan Kent pretty much behaves like a Superman without the powers, trying to do the right thing, thoughtful. He had his bout with popularity and going down the wrong path, but he got himself straightened out more on his own accord as opposed to influence from his parents. He just got that one talking to, and I was like, yeah, that's right. I'm this guy. I'm not the guy that gets drunk and hangs out with jerks.
No, that's pretty. That's really good. Yeah, I can see that. That's
so
really
I hope they put that there. I would like some more development out of Jordan in the next 4 episodes, because he is kind of like just a whiny, helpless type of kid who he's trying to do the right thing, but his character doesn't feel fully there because he's still in this discovery phase. So I think that's some interesting things going to happen in that regard. Superman is definitely going to break free of whatever hold Morgan Edge has over him, and I hope we get a cool costume for Steel in the next 4 episodes, because clearly they're going to partner up, or Steel's going to do something that's going to free Superman from that control, maybe with the help of Lois and the kids.
Okay, so people watching, what are some of your thoughts? Take a gamble and let us know what could happen. Season finale, like 4 episodes. In the comments of the video, you don't have to do it live, but once you think about it, here's what I know. Right, Steel's coming back. So Steel emotionally is tied to Lois Lane. Is it going to protect her no matter what, which is going to be good and bad? You got the 2 sons. I think you're on the mark. I'm thinking if anyone is going to be turned or anyone's going to have a problem or anyone's going to be kind of like taken, it's going to be Jordan.
Yeah.
Okay. I truly, unless there's maybe some they haven't shown Lana Lang yet, so maybe there's some residue of mom that's in Lana Lang, to where maybe she comes and helps and saves that destruction on some level, you know, because
That'd
there's
be
got to be
something.
some, yeah, there's got to be something for Lana Lang to really do, you know, and so if they're bringing in all these, you know, all the you know, daddy's babies and all that stuff, you know, so I'm thinking that might be interesting. I at the end of the day of season 1, I believe Superman is going to lose it all. I truly believe that. And season 2 will be about him getting it back. We got it. Like the stakes have to be, you know, they're really up here. He's submitted, and even though he might have a plan, someone's going to jack it up. It might be Steel just because of his love for Lois, you know, by accident. I don't think anyone's gonna die per se. Not any of the good people, you know. Maybe Sam, but I do. It might be there might be something cataclysmic where Superman kind of loses it all. I just think it's going to be something, you know, like not a, you know, like just a big level thing, you know.
Well, if they do
go ahead.
if they do a cliffhanger, that's very out of form for CW shows. They don't usually do that.
Really? Okay, but this is not a usual CW show.
That's true. That it's not a usual. So, if you want to go down that route, I would probably suspect that, let's say, Steel helps defeat Morgan Edge and writes everything, but then he quickly turns and takes out Superman, and that's your cliffhanger. Like he's defeated the actual bad guy. Now he's also taken out Superman.
Right.
And it's like, what is this guy gonna still be a bad guy, or is he still gonna be a like, you know, this kind of conflicted hero? And we're gonna be left waiting until next season what that answer is gonna be.
Yeah, because they both weren't they both briefly established in the pilot? Morgan and Captain Luthor.
Well, Morgan was kind of established just as, like, you know, a corrupt millionaire doing his thing. In the pilot, you know, the Captain Luthor persona, which later ended up being John Henry Irons, he was there just to get rid of Superman to prevent a type of apocalypse. So that mission could still possibly factor in. He obviously he's
waiting. He's waiting.
He's also got the knowledge and technology to within himself to fight Superman, because again, he was in a suit that could be as fast as Superman,
and to fight Morgan.
Yeah.
So obviously he's going to do anything Lois Lane says.
Most likely, yeah.
At first, right? Like he's going to protect his kids, her kids. I maybe even see some sort of like thing where Jonathan like has a moment with them, like a good moment, you know, like I could see some good stuff happening there. But I think at the end of the day, you know, he's going to jack everything up.
He probably is, yeah. He's driven far more by revenge, guilt, and passion than logic and things of that nature.
What do you guys think? Darth Maul, they may do some form of the rise of the Superman. Morgan dies and becomes some version of cyborg Superman. Whereas
CW, who knows?
Who knows? Michael Gonzalez's Morgan Edge has been killed before. He was a psychic in the comics. He was a psychic as powerful as the Purple Man.
Yeah, there was a period of time where he had psychic powers. He could manipulate anyone around him pretty effortlessly. And Purple Man's from Marvel, so yeah, but very.
I just want to say hi to Steven, to Steve and Pete. Thanks for being here, guys.
Yeah.
Well, I think that catches up. We are caught up now on the first 11 episodes script.
That's right, and yeah, around this time tomorrow night is 12 airs, and we're gonna get a new direction for this tail half of the season.
And briefly, just tap on that if you can. You're saying that it's kind of you're questioning the writing. Well, how did you put it earlier? Really fast. As far as is it very, or do you want to just save it? We can just save it.
Well,
I
I'll
know
put it
you.
this way: the writing is walking the line of good and bad. Like it has some moments that really hit, and then it uses some story elements and functions that are traditional to the CW that kind of hurt the show overall. So these next 5 episodes, or sorry, 4 episodes technically, 'cause it's only going up to episode 15. These next 4 episodes are probably going to make or break the season. I am hoping that they wrap everything up and give us something worth coming back to for season 2. And yeah, Michael Gonzalez Berlanti has never done cliffhangers on the CW. Usually he'll do a foreshadowing of things, but it'd be smart if he. I think it's a smarter thing for him to not do cliffhangers, and I think he does that deliberately because he knows there's always that possibility that even if the show is renewed for a second season, it people up on top can change positions and there can be some turnover, and that show won't be coming back. And why make a series where it ends on a cliffhanger if you don't have that opportunity to resolve it? So that I think everything probably will be resolved by the 15th episode, but I do suspect that, I mean, for dramatic effect, it'd be interesting to see Steel, John Henry Irons, just turn against Superman after solving the bigger crisis at hand.
Well, real fast, let people know what you're up to. Here's your channel. We'll give you a little solo spotlight.
Oh, thanks. Don't need to do that, but yeah. So I'm currently on hiatus from my YouTube channel for the moment, as I am actually writing a couple of screenplays, actually 3 screenplays for directors right now. So that is taking up the majority of my time. This is a nice streaming with you, Paulie, and guys at Midnight's Edge, and anyone else that I have time for is a great respite from doing the screenwriting stuff. And I'll in about 15 minutes I have to go out and play the role of boyfriend. So
same here.
That's what I'm going to be doing this evening. But in the meantime, if you're curious about my thoughts and some of the things I've learned in the industry with regards to writing and whatnot, you can check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/scriptdoctor, where I've analyzed shows like Batwoman, Star Trek Picard, Star Trek Lower Decks, and The Mandalorian, and some other things there. And you can get an understanding of a writer's perspective on television. It's not dated into anything in particular, so you can watch them in any order anytime you want, and get some understanding and maybe learn some questions to ask about your own shows when you're wondering, like, why don't I like this the way I should? Maybe I'll have post some questions there that you can apply to that and get a better understanding, a better way to articulate your just dissatisfaction with things, or even find a better understanding and appreciation of the things that you do love. There you go.
Well, there you go. I want to thank Script Doctor for joining me. We're going to be doing this every. We'll figure it out, but we're going to get every episode down. This is so far been a great show that I've really enjoyed, and I hope it continues on the upward and onward, because we need great entertainment to give us some escapism. I want to thank Script Doctor. I want to thank all the members of the channel and anyone new that has come by. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for subbing to Script Doctor. And this week, oh yeah, let me just say this really quickly too. Go catch our boy Robert Meyer Burnett's stream. He did an anniversary on Superman Returns. I believe it's been 15 years now. And Brian Singer was
2006. So it's 15 years.
Amazing. And always go check out our friends and all the wonderful things that they are doing. I will, my Wednesday night show, we are still trying to finalize who the guest is. I can tell you in the next couple of weeks, we have Force of Light Entertainment, Cameron Pasha. We actually have a scriptwriter coming from the Mr. Iglesias show, Peter Murieta.
Oh,
and
great.
He also inked another deal, and he is very outspoken and we're very excited. That's probably going to be in a month. So script, maybe we should talk. We should maybe have you in on that conversation, or at least you can come watch.
I'll definitely watch. That's for sure.
Definitely watch. Yeah, he executive produced and wrote a lot of the Mr. Glissis episodes, and I think the ones that are less woke he wrote, if I remember that. That's why I was a fan of his and I sought him out. We'll have some other ones. We'll have some other great guests and announcements. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you very soon. Be well. Have a great night. Thanks again, Script.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. It's been a blast.
Take care, everyone.
Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. The slam. All right, Paulie, let's go.